Once I was asked by a little girl, "Does God have ears?" And finally I understood what she was asking. Can God hear? We may ask ourselves the same question. Can God hear? Well, of course He can. God hears all things. And yet He says that He hears our prayers. When we pray, He hears those in a special way. Now, in the Bible, a lot of times when you see the word hear, it's in the sense that God responds to, He answers. He longs for us to pray to Him because He longs to respond to those prayers. He wants to answer those prayers. Zechariah 10:6 says, "For I am the Lord their God, and I will hear them, I will answer them." And then if you go to Psalm 116, awesome psalm, it says, "I love the Lord because He has heard my voice and my pleas for mercy. Because He inclined His ear to me, therefore I will call on Him as long as I live." The psalmist is very clear there. He prays to God and God listens, God hears, but He responds. God responds. Now, God is a personal being, and He relates to us in a very personal way. And one of the marks of personhood is fellowship, that relational aspect of getting together. God is actively seeking fellowship with people whose hearts are like His. And we see this as much in 2 Chronicles chapter 16, verse 9, where it says, "For the eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the whole earth, to give strong support," listen to that, strong support, "to those whose heart is blameless toward Him." The word blameless there could be translated strong, wholehearted towards God. Are you? Are you running after God? You see, He's looking for people whose hearts are in tune with Him. And then in 1 Peter 3:12, we read these words, "For the eyes of the Lord are on the righteous, and His ears are open to their prayer." Another mark of personhood is friendship. What do we do with people when we fellowship? We walk and we talk and we share together. There's other places where we see this idea of fellowship and friendship. In the Old Testament, we see that Enoch walked with God. Noah, it says that he walked with God. In Isaiah 41:8, God calls Abraham His friend. Later on in the New Testament, James 2:23 will confirm that. It says that Abraham was called the friend of God. Why is that? Why do they have that testimony? Because they had a relationship with God that was marked by fellowship and it was marked by friendship. The point is this: the prayer of an individual like yourself is heard by God. Abraham prayed, God listened. Enoch prayed, God listened. James talks about prayer because God listens to those that are His. And then in Psalm 18:6, it says this, "In my distress I called upon the Lord. To my God I cried for help. From His temple He heard my voice, and my cry to Him reached His ears." You see, you don't have to worry whether or not God hears you. He hears. He listens. Now, He doesn't always answer the way we might want Him to, but I guarantee you He'll always answer the way we need Him to. Just think about those verses in light of this coronavirus epidemic that we're experiencing now. We don't know from day to day what things are going to be like, but God does. And God is sovereign and He has everything in control. And we just simply have to trust Him that all things will work out according to His will. And He's going to go with us. He's going to be in this situation with us. And He invites us into fellowship with Him. And He invites us into friendship with Him. So when it comes to praying, God delights to hear us. He longs for it. Does God need us? Absolutely not. He can act alone because He's absolutely sovereign. And yet, he invites us to share with him in his own divine work. The things that he has going on in this world, he wants us to be a part of it. And an important part of that divine work is accomplished through prayer. Have you prayed today? Why don't you pause now and do that right where you are?